Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be listening. My name is Ash, and this is Indie Insider. My guest today is Ashley Reed. Hi, Ashley, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Just not enjoying this cold weather. I'm in the UK, and it's raining, and it's overcast, and it's cold.
Oh yeah, we have um not raining or cloudy today, but it's pretty chilly. It's like 30 to 50 around there
Wow,
today.
that's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Also, what I'm going to ask you, if you could just tell us where you started your music career.
Okay, well, I've kind of always been singing and writing as a child growing up. Like I would sit around writing poetry or like making up silly songs or um like instead of like speaking actual sentences, I would just sing them to my family. Uh,
Okay,
and so I kind of always just been pursuing it, whether it was, trying to start bands in high school or doing choir and like all those things. And so it wasn't until like 2017, I think, I was like, okay, I'm going to like really just hunker down and try and make this happen in any way I know how. So
right.
I started doing this Instagram challenge. I challenged myself to do a 60-second a cappella cover every day for a year.
Wow.
And during that time, my mom had found out about this event that takes place in Texas. It's called Mike Beatty's Model and Talent Expo.
Okay.
And you basically got invited to it. So you have to kind of give an audition. And since I wasn't where my mom lived at the time, I sent one of those Instagram videos of me singing, and they loved it and gave me an invitation. And so it was kind of like a competition-esque thing. Like they set you up in front of a bunch of like producers and casting agents and directors and modeling agencies and all those different things. And it's like a week-long thing that you're just auditioning
Right.
for all these different things. So
Okay.
that's where I met the producer that I've been working with for over 5 years now. Um,
Wow. That's a long
he,
time.
yeah, so he did like a callback, and I met with him and like um, instantly just kind of felt like he was a good guy and that he wouldn't steer me wrong. And so him and his business partner just kind of offered me this like 2-song music video deal, where they would produce 2 songs for me and we'd make a music video. And then that kind of turned into my first EP with them. And then kind of just ever since then, I've just, continuously worked with them um, for, um, like
5 years.
6 years now.
Wow. Geez, that's a very long time. And you're
Yeah.
very happy with their, I wouldn't say performance, but the way they produce your music, etc.
Hmm.
You're very happy with that?
Happy with the production?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually have a really good working relationship with my producer. He's very good at kind of because he obviously produces a lot of different genres of music,
Right.
and it more kind of like, pop or like R&B or those types of things. And I come in with like my kind of indie folk
Nice.
kind of vibe. And so I think that like challenged him in a good way, but we kind of like developed like this really good like connection where I could be like, hey, this is kind of where I want to go with. Like I would send him some just melodies that I would come up with, and he just kind of builds the music and production around it.
Right. That's good.
Um, yeah, and sometimes we like he'll produce something and I will do um the lyrics and the melody. And so, yeah, it's just kind of the music has just kind of evolved over the course of us working together.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah.
Musical instruments?
Like, do I play them?
Yes.
I dabbled with piano. I took lessons as a kid. But I think I just am so impatient, and I just wish that I wish I could just like play by ear, or that like I would just have that knowledge already in my brain that I could just make it happen faster.
Right.
But I'm just so impatient to learn. So like I did write one of my songs on piano because my sister-in-law had taught me a few chords, and I kind of just wrote it to that. But in general, no, I don't know how to play.
Okay, so you don't play
And
guitar.
I have one. I don't know how to play it.
I'm the same. I used to be, well, I'm not a musician, but I used to have a guitar.
hmm
But I got bored.
Yeah, it's hard to stick with it. I think piano is kind of easier for me.
Right.
I tried with guitar, but like you gotta like, hold the strings down really hard,
Yes.
and it can just be a little painful. That's why like piano has just always has been easier for me.
Yeah, your fingers just fly over those keys, which is much better than holding strings down and trying to strum at the same time.
Yeah, and I feel like with a piano, there's just kind of more of an emotional connection,
Right.
versus a guitar. I mean, I love it. I love it all, but piano, I think, is just where it's like getting down to the raw basics of writing a song. And I think that's
Right.
kind of also where my producer started too. Like he builds a lot of the tracks on his piano.
Okay. Have you
Mhm.
performed live at all, Ashley?
Yes. So when I lived so when I started producing and working on the music with my producer, um, I was living in Savannah, Georgia at the time.
Okay.
And so I literally, like, once I had two of the songs, I went to an open mic and performed them. And that kind of led to a gig on River Street that these people put on like every other week with live music. And so I would perform there. And then that led to a regular gig at this local pub. And then I moved to Colorado, and then COVID happened. And
Oh dear.
yeah, so then all performing like ceased. So I think I did one open mic in the last 3 years. So
Wow, that's a long time also to get back into it. I'm sure it'll be just as if getting back on a bike or getting back on a horse. You just get into it.
yeah, well, I mean, since I hadn't really done it a whole lot, and then I was doing it regularly, I felt like I had some momentum going, and I was getting more comfortable with it.
Right.
And then once COVID happened and I like couldn't do it, then I started getting a little more nervous,
Oh,
and I'm like, can I do this again? I don't know. Like, it's like I felt like I was doing well, and then it kind of just stopped.
oh no, that's horrible. But at least, when you perform live again, it's just a case of, right, let's do it.
hmm Yeah. I mean, I've always had stage fright, um and so like trying to control the nerves um has been
Hard.
hard all my life, but that's why I was like, it was great because I was getting more comfortable with it, and all that. And so to have to completely stop, I was just like, "Ugh."
Oh no,
Yeah.
so awful. And Ashley, please tell us, how do you handle pressure and deadlines when it comes to music production or songwriting?
I actually recently, like, the songs that are in progress of being finished and released soon, because I was trying to work on my second EP. Um, it started out with being like a single, and that took like over a year to do. And then
Right.
I was like, okay, well, I think I want to do another EP. So I had my producer actually come to me and stay at my house, and we were like, we had like 3 songs to write and record
Right.
in a week time frame.
Ooh, that's
And
tight.
that, yes, it was really tight, but it was a great challenge because usually I'll come up with a melody, or he'll like, it's a very slow process sometimes with us. We just kind of like, because you got to find the right vibe, and like, he wants to, give me the right song that I'm looking for.
Sure.
And sometimes we'll like, okay, no, that doesn't work. Go back to the drawing board. So this time it was like, okay, we have a week. It wasn't even a week. It was like 5 days. And I was like, and I was working at the time. So we really like, it was a very condensed time frame. Like I would get him started, I would go to work, and then I'd come back and we would kind of work on. So he would leave me alone in the room
Oh my
for
word.
like a few hours, like, okay, this is what I came up with. And I would just sit there and I'd be staring at walls, like trying to come up with melody, trying to come up with lyrics. Because like sometimes I'll have a thought and I'll write it down, and then I'm like, oh, that works for this song or whatever. So this time it was like everything had to be done in this condensed time frame.
Wow.
But we did it, and I think he was surprised at how well I did in that time frame, because usually I do like more of an emotional song, and this time we were kind of playing more with like pop, with some Taylor Swift vibes and
Right.
different things like that. And that's not something that I had been used to writing. And so I think we kind of surprised each other with what we came up with, but we did it in 5 days.
Wow. That's pretty good going. I must say, I'm impressed.
Yeah, it was very stressful, and I felt it. I felt the pressure, but I just kept pushing, and we did it. I was very
You did
surprised.
fantastic. This leads me to my next question. Can you describe a specific learning experience in which you gained new knowledge of skills related to music?
I can't narrow it down to one specific thing, because I think this whole time, I've just been learning, just kind of what all goes into being an independent artist,
Right.
um, and what that entails, and like, because I think that I had, as most people do, I think, have this idea of, I'll just sing somewhere and I'll get discovered and I'll get a record deal,
That could be
and
your dream, definitely.
yeah, and that'll be that. And that is not the case. And I'm kind of grateful that I went the route of being an independent artist, because obviously you have more control.
Yes.
I have all the publishing rights and all that, which even in that sense of even trying to get my brain wrapped around the legalities of all that stuff is so confusing. It's not so cut and dry.
I
But
agree.
yeah, but having just kind of learning how to basically just kind of how to do what a record label would do, but doing it for yourself. So learning how to distribute music. I have my music with they've been placed on some TV shows.
Right. Wow.
So I think that whole the whole experience in its entirety has definitely kind of just had me. I learned how to have those skills. Like you have to know what you're doing with social media. You have to know what you're doing with like having the vision of your album covers or your single covers, like music videos, all those
Right.
things, like having those technical skills kind of can make or break an independent artist.
I
So
agree.
yeah, so having that or knowing how to kind of outsource it as well is a very learned skill.
Very much so. And just going back to when you were saying about when you used to perform live, have you
Mhm.
ever had to perform in front of a large or difficult audience?
Um, I mean, definitely when I performed at when I first auditioned for the expo, but I think the most difficult things I've had to perform was at funerals, to be
Oh
honest.
no.
Um, I recently I sang at my grandpa's funeral.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Sang at my dad's funeral.
Oh no, again, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So I think those have been the bigger audiences and
Right.
probably have the most pressure because, it's just a very emotional thing altogether.
It
But
is.
being able to perform under that kind of stress has been probably the least favorite of performing, probably.
Oh dear, I can imagine, to sing at your relative's funeral, it's not a good
Mhm.
um, process.
No, I feel like, and I've sang at quite a few, and I don't know, it's it's kind of insane. It feels like that movie Four Weddings and a Funeral, but it's like the opposite
Yes,
because
it's more sad.
yeah, like I've sang at a probably less weddings, but more funerals. It's a little
Oh,
insane.
and
But
tell us, Ashley, as a musician, what methods do you use to continually improve your craft and stay up to date on industry trends?
um, well, in terms of I always believe in still consistently doing, your vocal training. Um,
Right,
uh, I have been off and on with it, obviously, because there's big gaps between my performance and stuff, but like just always working on your craft individually.
right.
In that sense, I do have goals of learning my instruments. Because that's just something, sorry.
No worries.
That's just something that's just something that I want for myself to be able to like, yes, I can answer that question. I do know how to play my instruments. Just because I think that would also be very therapeutic to be able to just sit down and write everything in its entirety. Um, but in terms of trends, um, I don't like in musical trends, I try not to pay too much attention to jumping on the trends like that because um my producers just always said that good music will always find its home.
That's
And
very true.
yeah, so you know, out the gate, I can't, I had a variation of different genres of music in my first EP. Um, and I just kind of like I just do what I like at the moment, and just kind of combined all of the genres that I like. Like, one of my songs that I released this summer, one of my first kind of more upbeat and like summery type of song. Like I was inspired by Daisy Jones and the Six and like 70s music, so like Fleetwood Mac
Right.
and just like, but also kind of making it current. Because like that to me, like that music is very classic and if you chase a trend, it'll show. You know
Of
what I mean? Like
course. Yes.
it's going to um just I mean you can hear it now like as you get older the songs that you liked back then you know those they kind of come and go
Yeah.
sometimes like it's so having that like classic music that's like timeless that and that's kind of just always been me. Like I
Right.
grew up in my family owned a radio station and we played all
Okay.
kinds of different stuff. My dad would listen to all different kinds, anything from the Beatles to Frank Sinatra. So like all over the place. So I just incorporate all of that and I don't want to deter away from not being
Yes,
me, not being authentic. And I think that that is like just such an important thing for an independent artist, to just be authentic, just be yourself.
exactly. Be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else but yourself.
Yeah. I mean, still like pay attention to, the tools, the free tools like
Yeah,
Instagram, and social media. Those are free resources, free tools that you can get the word out about your music. So utilize it, because we all
exactly.
know independent artists don't have any money. you
I'm
know?
with you on that. Yes,
Yes. So
everything
like,
you do is out of your own pocket.
yes, everything you do is out of pocket. So, just, do use those things, just,
Exactly.
yeah.
And Ashley, tell us, do you have a particular routine or environment that helps you get into a creative mindset?
It kind of changes. Um, I do like, um, I'm very like indie, like boho or whatever. So I set up my office studio space, like, comfy pillows and, like just like all the things that I love around me. But I also just
Yes.
like, I like to, I think for music wise, I really like to find like that inspirational, like I have to hear something in music, and then that can send me off like on a tangent on something else. Like I'll hear a line in a song, and like all
Right.
of a sudden I'm just like, oh, that makes me think of this. And then I write it down, or I'll be in my car. Like it's just kind of whenever that inspiration hits. Um, and I do like dark and moody spaces
Oh,
too.
yeah, that
Like,
also helps.
yeah, just kind of like, because I think that I can get distracted a lot.
Right.
I think that can be very common with artists.
I think so.
Uh,
You mean there's something that takes your attention. It's like, oh, what was I doing before? You
yes.
know?
Well, because like, like you have other responsibilities. And so I think that like in order to like shut everything out, just like dark and moody, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna write. And, like I don't try to force it too much. But sometimes like,
Okay, Ashley, could you tell us about where your fans can find your music?
yes, so I'm on all streaming platforms. So you can find me on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, um, basically wherever you like to listen to your music, you can just search me, Ashley Reed.
Fantastic. And when would you perform live again?
That I have absolutely no idea.
At some point.
Right now I'm just kind of working on getting this next EP out, hopefully in the next month or so, after Christmas probably. Just
Fantastic.
putting on the finishing touches.
And are you ready for Christmas?
Um, yes. Yeah, I think so. I'm ready. I'm ready for 2024. I'm
Yes.
excited to see what new things 2024 will bring. Hopefully all good.
All good things. Fantastic. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to have a talk with us. And we wish you a very, very Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, and Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
Thanks a lot, Ashley. You take care.
You too.
Thanks, then. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Bye.